Welcome to week 2. We're going to learn some theory this week, but not in an esoteric or hypothetical way. We're going to put theory to work for us. We're going to use theory to learn how we as communicators can influence messages or influence through messages, and especially using social media in a way that is practical and effective, all based on solid research. We'll start with one example from our text where our author reminds us of the communication theory that has been concerned with how networks relate to personal influence. He references a Cooley study dating all the way back to the early 20th century in which there were 4 factors related to networking. These included expressiveness, permanence, swiftness, and diffusion of communication. I think it's interesting to note that even though this original research was conducted over a century ago, it still applies today, even in the fast-paced sphere of social media. Another example from our author, where we learn in our text that social media communication platforms create symbolic environment in which metaphors such as Facebook wall, Pinterest board, a tweet, these construct shared meaning and understanding. Now, if you are a student of communication and have studied communication theory before, this probably reminds you of the communication theory known as coordinated management of meaning. Again, another opportunity to take standard, well-researched communication theory and apply it to what we're learning in social media. One more example. Our author notes that the internet and social media users tend to be early adopters of innovative communication technology. Now, the adoption process involves 5 major stages: awareness, interest, evaluation, trial, and then adoption. Should sound familiar, especially if you've studied communication before or maybe even taken a marketing class. Very similar to the principles that we learn in terms of the adoption process. And remember, our author notes that this is from Lowry and DeFleur, 1995, long before most of us had ever thought of social media. Another place that I encourage you to look at this week in Chapter 2 of our text is the portion of the chapter related to uses and gratification. Now, this communication theory has applications far beyond social media, including just about all aspects of public relation and strategic communication. The reason I want you to look at that is because as you are developing your own strategic communication plans, you'll want to be familiar with the theory behind uses and gratification, or how people choose the medium that they use for their own gratifying nature in terms of news, politics, information, searching out things to purchase, all those kinds of things that apply under the umbrella of uses and gratification. And finally, as you read Chapter 2 of our text, take a look at that group in a box model. It includes one aspect of social network analysis known as detection of communities or subgroups. Now, you can find this on page 32 of the text, or if you're using Kindle, that's in Kindle location 1026. As you look at that group in a box model, think about the implications of this model and others like it, and how it could influence the communication that you wish to use in order to distribute messages or target audiences, or perhaps even engage key influencers. Good practical applied learning in that group in a box model, and there are other models like it. Well, that's it for now. As always, stay ahead with all assignments, stay engaged in the discussion board, and enjoy this time of learning.